So have you ever thought about where Black names came from? Like, how did we get Darnell and Latasha? So prior to the 50s and 60s, Black people took their names from the European Americans. So we had names like Matthew, James, David, but then everything changed once the civil rights movement came, because we were like, wait, like, we are our own people. We don't have to take your name. So, we're about to spice it up a little bit. And now, there are a lot of Black people who come from New Orleans, and New Orleans obviously has that French culture. And it's around this time, like the 50s and 60s, where we started taking names from the French. We're like, oh, wait, we like Monique, we like Antoine, we like Chantal. And these became really popular names around that time. Also names like Andre. And now this is where we start seeing a lot of apostrophes enter the mix. Also in the 60s, we have a whole rise of Islamic names due to the rise of the Nation of Islam within the Black American culture. So I think we all know at least 3 Aishas, 4 Aliyahs, 2 Kareems, 3 Muhammads, 4 Maliks. This is where these names came from. And then in the 70s, we started embracing our African roots. Now, this was the rise of Afrocentrism, and the name Kizzy from the show Roots became super popular. So now, since we're trying to reconnect back to our African roots, we're taking African words and creating names out of them. So like, have you ever heard of the word Asante? That translates to thank you. But that's also where we get the name Ashanti. So now by the late 70s, early 80s, this is when we really start to adopt prefixes and suffixes. So let me explain this. So let's go over some examples of prefixes. So we're taking typical names like Sean or Marcus, and we're adding la, da, or ra to it. So now it's LaShawn or Deshawn or Rushawn. Same with Marcus. La Marcus, Da Marcus, Ja Marcus. We're creating names now. And again, these prefixes are all from French origin. It's like da apostrophe, la apostrophe. We're also around this time seeing common suffixes like isha, asha, ikwa. So now from all of our influences, the French, our African history, we are totally creating names. Now we have La Nisha, La Tisha, Sha Quisha, Sha Nikwa, and we can't forget about Lakeisha, okay? And we also took some influence from the Spanish, and we took the suffix ita. So have you heard of Shanita, Shakita, Anita Baker? Now come the late 80s, we said, look, we are not creative enough. We got to take this up a notch, okay? So at this point, this is when we started combining the mother and the father's name to make the baby name. So we have names like Raymond for the father and Yvonne for the mother, and coming up with a name like Rayvon. Fast forward to the 90s and 2000s, even the 2010s, European names started making a comeback amongst the Black American culture. So now we are reintroducing the names that we had pre-civil rights movement. So now names that are popular are like Matthew, David, James, Christopher, Joseph. And there isn't too much research out about the current decade regarding Black names. But child, can we please, as a whole, retire the Aidens? Aiden, Caden, Jaden, Zayden. Let's call it a day with those. Okay, thank you.